In this video, I break down the official and updated rules for the Barking Kitten cards, as well as their weird history. Back in the summer of 2020, Exploding Kittens released their latest expansion pack known as Barking Kittens. And as of the making of this video, this is the last official expansion pack they've ever released. While the expansion pack introduced a slew of brand new cards, one pair of cards would go on to become some of the most talked about and controversial cards in the game, the Barking Kitten cards themselves. I have here with me a 2020 edition of this expansion. Let's see what the rules say for the Barking Kitten cards. The rules for these cards read as follows. Place face up in front of you and ask for the other Barking Kitten. If any player has it, they are your target and must give you half of their cards, rounding up. Combine them with your hand, then choose and return the same number of cards back to them. It's fine if any/all of the cards were originally theirs. Then discard both Barking Kittens. If no one has the other Barking Kitten, leave the card face up in front of you. You cannot play it again and it is not part of your hand. When someone plays the other Barking Kitten, you are their target. If you get both Barking Kittens, even if you've already played one, play them together and pick any player as your target. Like all kittens, Barking Kittens cannot be noped. In a game where stealing cards was already custom, this kind of cutthroat gameplay instantly made the Barking Kitten cards a classic. Sure, there was a little risk involved with playing the first Barking Kitten card, but it wasn't like you were gonna explode. And the potential opportunity to sift through half of someone else's cards was just too fun to resist. It was looking as though the Barking Kittens would join the hall of other classic cards. Or at least, so we thought. The year is 2022 and Exploding Kittens releases its biggest hit yet, Recipes for Disaster. This box comes loaded with over 120 cards, including, yes you guessed it, the Barking Kitten cards themselves. However, something crucial had changed with these cards. Although listed nowhere in the rules for Recipes for Disaster, the Barking Kitten cards read, when played, if anyone has another Barking Kitten, they explode or diffuse. Otherwise, keep it in front of you and it becomes a target when another one is played. This led to all sorts of confusion in the Exploding Kittens community as to whether this was just a recipes thing or if the rules for the cards had actually changed. And then came the nail in the coffin. Shortly after the release of Recipes, the Exploding Kittens website had officially updated the Barking Kittens expansion rules for these two cards. It reads, place this card face up in front of you and ask for the other Barking Kitten. If any player has it, they are your target and must play a diffuse card or explode. Discard both Barking Kittens at the end of the turn. If no one has the other Barking Kitten, leave the card face up in front of you. You cannot play it again and it is not part of your hand. When someone else plays the other Barking Kitten, you are their target and you must play a diffuse card or explode. If you get both Barking Kittens, even if you've already played one, play them together and pick any player as your target. It is still your turn after playing this card. Like all kittens, Barking Kittens cannot be noped. These two cards are like a game of chicken. If you have one and think someone else has the other, play it quickly to make them explode. But if you're wrong and no one has the other one yet, you're turning yourself into a target. Wow. Needless to say, this would change the way that players would play these cards forever. What started out as a risky but fun way to snatch someone else's cards quickly became a life or death maneuver that put everyone on the edge of their seats. Was this a win for Exploding Kitten fans everywhere? Yes and no. On one hand, you have the game makers probably saying, hey, these cards are named after this expansion pack, they should be way more powerful. But on the other hand, you've created a major discrepancy in your own game where people are going to own various versions of these cards. Last I heard, the original expansion pack is still making its rounds in stores today. And then there's the question of whether or not the cards should have kept their original ability. The idea of risking some of your own cards to steal someone else's was fun and exciting. But now you have to wonder whether or not you're going to have to deal with an inferno in the process. So when it comes down to it, how should you play with the original version of these cards? Personally, I believe in playing the cards as they're written to be played on the cards themselves. Not only does this make it easier on newcomers who have no clue about the discrepancies of the game, but it also gives each version of the Barking Kittens a special novelty. Speaking for myself, I'm happy to own the original version. Plus, let's be honest, I'd much rather take my chances losing some cards than blowing up. But how about you? What are your thoughts on the different versions of these cards and how do you think they should be played? Do me a favor and let me know in the comments. Thanks so much for taking the time to watch this video. Take care and I'll see you around.